Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Autopsy with Maddee P. I'm your host, Maddee P, girl. Missed you again, like always. I'm back and better than ever. And today we have some fun convo, for sure. Last week... See, I don't even know why I say what we talked about last week. It's not like it matters. It was last week. I'm a little bit spunky today, a little bit crazy. Your girl wants to vape really bad right now, like in this moment. Stop. And I'm out of my coffee creamer. I am that type of like millennial, like it's coffee o'clock. Like I live off coffee. Like that's me as fuck. And honestly, what's wrong with it? What's wrong with it? Because I spend a lot of time in coffee shops. Sorry that I get work done. It's me just wasting money on $15 coffees and then calling it work. But it's delicious. It's better than liquor for me. I'll take it. Leave me alone. What are we doing this week? I don't know, girl. I'm gonna ask you that. No, I'm kidding. Okay, I'm being weird like this because I'm watching Love Island and like I'm being really flirty with everyone because of it. Honestly, like, so you want to know why I'm watching Love Island? Actually, to be in touch with society. It is my bestie's birthday this weekend, and like her group of gals loves. Oh my god, am I already seizing out? And we just started. Don't fuck with me like this right now, please. Not today. Not on the day that I want to vape so bad, which is every day. But I digress. They love Love Island. Okay, I also really liked it. I love reality TV. If that's not apparent, I'm like one of the only people I know that actually watches our Kardashians and loves the Kardashians. Follows them on Instagram, likes everything they post. I love it. What is wrong with reality TV? Like, y'all are haters and y'all are liars. It's entertaining. It's incredible. Vanderpump Rules is one of the best shows I've ever seen. Like, up there with The Office. That's how much I love that shit for real. Okay? And so I'm like, okay, I better get back into it because, you know, I don't drink and it'd give me some good combo, like, whatever. If, you know, with, like, mutuals versus, like, my friends, obviously, we've other shit to talk about. I'm on one already. I just recognized it. Okay. Anyways. I'm loving it. I'm loving Love Island, girl. Ariana Madix was always one of my favorites. So I think like her alone is a treat. Those outfits eat the fuck boots, girl. And I was on TikTok scrolling and someone was like, who the fuck is dressing her? And it's this girl named Olivia. And that's some hot shit. She's looking good. I hate me a Tom Sandoval. I hate me a Tom Tom. Oh my God. Headache. The worst are like watching their cameos. One, I watched one with Rachel today from Vanderpump Rules, Raquel, and it was like painful because she didn't know. You could tell she didn't know which words were coming next, and she was like empty. And I know that because I've had that happen to me sometimes, especially when I used to dissociate like really bad. I just couldn't talk. I couldn't speak, and like each word was difficult for me. Okay, and I can just see it written all over her face, but like in a way of dumbness, you know, which like to each their own. If you're stupid, that's not your fault. I understand. Well, is it? I don't know. Chat. Is it your fault if you're dumb? It's giving it's your parents' fault. And she's a hard life. Anyways, don't care about Raquel. She's a cunt. Ariana wins everything. But she's like doing the sound bowls. She's just like dead-eyed, like doing the sound bowls. And some people are commenting like, damn, that shit peaceful as fuck. And then Tom Sandoval is like, hey, it's Tom Sandoval. And it's like, does he know who he is? Like, does he know that America hates him and that women do not care about him? And God, I get so far into this shit, you see. Now, I'm only on episode 2 of Love Island, so I don't know why I acted like I've seen the whole season, but I will give a brief opinion so far. I guess so far Huda isn't crazy yet, but I'm waiting for it to happen. She's like one of the more normal ones. My favorite is Shelly. Is that her name? Love Shelly. Love Miss Girl. I'm telling you because I assume you care. Love you. And I like Taylor. Nick guy? Oh my God. Nick is Gru. Y'all know what the fuck I'm talking about right now. Nick is this his name? The white boy? I think his name's Nick. The white boy that doesn't have curly brown hair. Like, white, like Scandinavian white boy. Anywho. Oh yeah, he looks like Gru. But I love Gru. Y'all don't understand. I have a thing about minions, and now people on TikTok are like, Moe. Ah, ha ha. Boy. Ah, ha ha. So if you see me on TikTok acting a fool soon over minions, let it be. Let me be. I'm in retirement, early stages of retirement. I absolutely love the Minions. I think you're lying if you don't. And like Gru is so funny to me. Like, who wants to steal the moon? Like, that is some serious ambition, bro. Like, come on. Okay, that's it. That's it. Oh, and okay, I was gonna say something kind of a hot take. Bella's too prude. I just watched her lose her man to I don't know her new name. Sierra or Chris? Sierra. I think it's Sierra. Not me remembering a name for the first time maybe in my whole life. She was too prude and she lost her man. You're on a show about kissing, about fucking, about flirting and cuddling and all this shit. And you're going to have someone kiss you on the cheek and then not make out with him and shit, and then you're mad that you lost your man to somebody who's there for the same reason as him, and it's to fuck. What is the show where like you can't touch each other? That was like an old back in the day reality TV. I think we need to pull out some new reality TV shit from like back in the day. Oh my god, is my hair really ugly right now? Whatever. I'm not on Love Island, so it doesn't fucking matter. Oh, Survivor. Are you kidding me? I love Survivor, though. Survivor isn't that OG reality TV shit, bro. I love watching a middle-aged woman named Kelly from Ohio just crash the fuck out in the fucking rainforest. It absolutely kills me. She's like, fuck. It's just like animalistic. And it's a delight on my screen. Now, I just spent so long talking about that. I don't even know what other warm-ups I have to give you. Oh. So, Brooke and Tana are stopping canceled. Which I'm sure in my heart of hearts, cancel has something to do with me sitting here right now. I'm sure it does. And maybe it's because I've been a fan of Tana from the jump. Y'all know this. I love Tana Mojo. I will never lie to y'all and say I don't love that bitch. For real. Like, I saw her in Charleston. I told you the story about, I told you, we talked about this. Okay, so you know. And I hate Brooke. Sorry. Ever since Mindy. Like, we're pretending it didn't happen. From the jump, you're Mindy. And from the jump, I knew that. Then I settled into it, started to like her because the banter was good and the conversation was good, and I love Canceled. And I love watching podcasts, obviously. And Tana really like gets me to follow my dreams because like she's so me-coded in terms of like no education, like lazy. No, that's not true. Like lack of education and some things like that, right? And just like following her dreams and following what she wants to do in life. So I think that's the part of Canceled that gets me sitting here because I don't have the fucking bandwidth to talk about pop culture all day. I don't. Even though I love it, like I think I would seize over and collapse. Anyways, I am like, they weren't, instructions unclear. Are they are they done forever or is Brooke just leaving? Because we need a podcast from Tana and I'd rather Brooke be there. And like, at least we have Tana on a podcast. Because otherwise, like, what is she going to do? She's going to get poor. Then what? No shopping halls with Makoa? Sickening. Sick to my stomach. Tana, get it together. Anyways, I am kind of glad Brooke's gone. And like, well, I don't need to go back through cancel culture. Y'all know I hate that shit. But Brooke deserved it. That is one person, like, cancel the fuck out of Brooke. Sorry. It was the whole Mindy thing for me. And I'll never go back. Because of that. Sorry. Anyways, moving on. Addison Rae is, I know, Maddie, you're 25. Why the fuck are you talking about Addison Rae right now? Well, that'd be because I love Addison Rae. And y'all don't fucking get it. Okay? I'm scared, homeboy. I'm scared. Oh, boyfriend, I'm scared. Y'all don't get that shit for real. Y'all don't get it. Pop culture icon, okay? Don't like love her for like, you know, in her TikTok era, like I wasn't like Addison Rae, right? But her not wearing makeup thing, and I said this to Pamela Anderson too. Amazing, phenomenal. I think when women don't wear makeup in media, like pop star ass bitches, give them an award immediately. Amazing. This is the type of shit that shapes the kids in the right way. Shape these young women in the right way. And they're doing it right. And fuck men. And fuck the news. And fuck all of that shit. I'm not wearing makeup, you stupid cuck. And you know what I've been saying a lot? The word fuckface. And I think it's incredible, but it's quite vulgar. So I'm going to try to dial it back. Sorry. Really sorry about that. I work in a restaurant, okay? It's just like, I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, so Addison Rae is not wearing makeup. I think it's revolutionary. The fact that we're talking about it is kind of funny. But, you know, I just kind of want to, honestly, I think it was more so me coming clean about the fact I like Addison Rae. I think, like, I just had to tell someone. And, like, here we are, and I'm talking about it, and I had to come clean. I have not listened to her music. I did see her in a bra and underwear on a stage. And you know what I thought about that? I thought, let me mind my business. Let me mind the business that pays me. And it ain't watching Addison Rae, that's for sure. And I think there were people in the comments that were like, you know, Britney Spears did this, but like just because it's a bra, like explicitly a bra and underwear, it makes it different. Whatever. And I think like anyone who's judgmental of pop stars and shit like that is just dumb. It's like that's what the industry is. Like you're trying to get a wow factor. Like if someone could be butt naked, like that's the game that they're playing. You know what I mean? Like it's just stupid to me. Like with being naked, who cares? Like the whole nudity and stars and celebrity and like and you know what I think it is? Growing up, I was always a girl with a little bit too provocative of an Instagram. My shorts were a little short, you know, like I grew up in a strict household. So like that rebellion of women in me that just wanted to come out at all times, essentially. I just understand that. And I hate that people care what people wear, or like if they're half naked or like whatever the fuck. It's like, grow up. Now, I also wrote on there that I do love Tate McRae. I really, truly love Tate McRae. And I will say today I heard the song, is it Greedy? I bet you through hell. And I remember when that song came out, maybe it wasn't when it came out, when I first listened to it. And this was like 6+ months ago, or maybe not. I don't know, like a while ago. Okay. Where am I? Don't know. A while ago. And I remember listening to it and be like, oh, this kind of trash though. But she was so hot to me. And that's what makes a pop star. Y'all don't understand. That's the important part. Y'all are such haters. Like, they're wearing this. They're doing this. They're not a good role model. They're hot as fuck. That's the whole point, you moron. We're selling an image because these people ugly as fuck. The citizens ugly as shit. The pop stars are hot. That's the point. You want to be them. You want to be hot, and you cannot take your eyes off them. Even like if you don't like what they do because they're so hot, it's mesmerizing. And that's the point. You want a mesmerizing star, right? And that's exactly who the fuck Tate McRae is. Absolutely mesmerizing. I think she is the most like gorgeous, like honestly, like one of the most gorgeous people I think I've ever seen. Like she is my celebrity crush. I love Tate McRae. Anyways, I remember listening to that song and being like, and now it's like good because you hear it too many times. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe like the whole game behind like the marketing teams or whatever they fucking got going on is that if you just play the song over and over in every H&M, every TikTok, every ad, every sponsorship ever, then people are going to like it eventually. And it worked on me. So if you need to collect some data, it worked. It worked. Love you, Tay. Love you so much, girl. And yeah, that's pretty much it for warm up. I mean, because I have something kind of intense to talk about today. Oh, I'm 12 minutes in. Yeah, I better hop off. Heat wave in Charleston. What am I? Wouldn't you like to know, weather boy? Like, I think that's so funny audio. Oh my God. Why did I think I'm a meteorologist? I wrote heat wave and tanning. Okay, get a grip. What the fuck? I have nothing to say about that, okay? This week, it's going to talk about EDs, okay? We're going to talk about food, really is what we're going to talk about. And I put a lot of pressure on myself for this episode to like make it a certain way and do a certain thing, but I'm not. Because I don't understand my ED yet. Well, okay, no. I don't understand my relationship to food in a lot of ways. Even after looking inward for several years on this topic. For a long time. For basically my whole life struggling with this, okay? And I'm better now. I'm in a better place. But I still just like, I don't want to put a label on what this podcast episode is going to be, how we talk about food and what kind of comes up. I wrote out an episode and something tells me I'm not going to follow it. And something also tells me we're going to talk about this several times over and over again because it's a big topic and like people don't talk about it. People do, but like, I don't know. I want to. Leave me alone. So we're talking about EDs today. I'll start by saying like, obviously I'm not, why would I even say I'm not a doctor? You know that. Like, there's no way this girl's a doctor. So, I'm not even saying it. I'm so dumb sometimes. But, like, I guess what I'm trying to say is that we have divulged some of my issues together. So, like, I've even found a lot of stuff out about myself through filming this podcast. Seriously. So, that's kind of what this is about. I kind of want to just talk and like see what happens. And I like that I'm like settling into the podcast. I feel like I truly am in terms of like filming and like, yes, there's structure involved, but I'm having fun, you know? And like, just letting shit be, not being so worked up and like so crazy about it, and just letting shit happen. So I have struggled, and this is basically me talking about my struggle. Maybe, I don't know, see if you relate. Okay. Oh, I can't roll my R's. I shouldn't admit that in case a Hispanic man wants me on here. I can roll them. Don't worry, baby. I'm disgusting. I'm such a filthy person. Now, I have definitely struggled with food my entire life. And obviously, like most people, there's been times it's been better and times it's been worse. I have suffered at the hands of probably several eating disorders. I grew up in a Southern family. And I don't know where I picked this up, but I was very hush hush about my feelings and things about food. Like same with alcoholism too. I didn't understand I had a problem until it was over. And I think that food has always been the same for me. And like even to this day, I'll catch myself, and we'll get there to what this day looks like, because I'm going to be coming clean with y'all. Okay. Like shit ain't easy for everyone. And I saw that Haley girl on TikTok talking, and it's funny because when I saw her, I thought maybe she was just struggling with drugs, to be honest, like genuinely. And then to find out it was an eating disorder, and people are so fucking mean about it. Like, I don't know. Just want to bring that up for no reason. But food was definitely like, I've shared a little bit with you. It was my first memories of like being like really ugly to myself, like really hating myself and really hating my life and like everything around me essentially. And this, like the first memories I have of this are maybe 6 or 7. Seriously. No, maybe like 8-ish, maybe those first feelings I had. And it is really sad to like think about you as a child and like what in this world causes that. I don't know. Like what did I see that really just like broke me down? I grew up in a beach town, and I remember like always seeing like there was like surf competitions, so really hot girls and like posters everywhere of people in bikinis, tan, looking great. And maybe that's what it was. And I always loved Disney princesses. I always loved like shit like that. And it was just, to me, being a woman meant taking care of yourself. Like from a really young age, I understood that. And that's a Southern concept too, but like it destroyed me. And I did not like myself. And my 8 to 10, I didn't have a lot of friends too. And I talked about it before. And so food was my friend. And so my first eating disorder, I think, really was binge eating. And like it was very organized binge eating because I lived with my parents. My mom was a granola mom, so like there wasn't much I could get my hands on. And I hesitate in some ways the verbiage that I'm going to share some of this stuff, but like also I don't give a fuck. Like I don't need to like what am I trying to say? I don't need to mute myself. Why can I not think of that word? Silence myself. I'm just going to kind of be direct about this, and I'm sorry if any of it's graphic or like too much, but I'm here to help other girls, and I just want to talk about it and want you to know that you're not alone. And that's why I talk about things like this, is because I'm worried that girls out there don't understand that people fight this with them. And I always thought that. And so I think that like I always snapped out of things and realized so many people understood and struggled with me, and I always thought I was so alone. And maybe that's where that comes from. Like I just have a fear too of feeling alone in certain pains and certain things like that again, and that's why I'm so vocal and open about my feelings. And I want to be representation of vulnerability too, because it saves lives. And even if someone just sees this and it's like, oh, maybe I'll mention it to one person, and then that's the reason they eat for like 3 days, and like it is that dramatic. And I understand that. And honestly, too, like the older I get, I feel like, and this isn't self-diagnosis land, like I talk about that there could be something wrong with me. There could not be, but I do everything I can for my mental health. And if things get out of control, like I will seek a diagnosis. I'll do what I need to do. But like the reason I even eat healthy, like, is to keep my brain going. So like everything I do is down to my mental health, and I'm not kidding about it, because I get scared. It like freaks me out, and like I have control of it now. I cannot let go of the control I have over myself, and I talk about that and my admiration towards building that too. But part of me thinks growing into adulthood that I suffered some OCD, or I still do in some ways, and I say that because I've looked into it, and it's just like I don't want to divulge my exact thoughts on things, but like I do think that's a possibility. And I think something about OCD and food just goes together, and a lot of eating disorders and things are very similar to that. And then also an addictive thing too with OCD. And y'all know eating addictions are also eating disorders are also a form of addiction. And that's, I think part of me is hesitating right now and a little nervous because I'm not qualified to talk about this, because not in terms of like, obviously I'm not a doctor, whatever, but in terms of my healing around the subject. I am just starting my healing. So I'm being coy because I don't feel qualified. But I just want to talk about it again. Holy shit. So, I do think that this ties in with my addictions, and it runs in my family, OCD. And so I wonder, like, I don't know. I think it has something to do with it. And disordered eating is like very hard to process and very hard to get your hands, like very hard to like work out the equation of. And I think it just is so tricky that when any type of like weird clause of obsessive things grab into it, and obsession was something that I have had to deal with for a very long time. I made an episode about obsession, but I'm sure we'll talk about it again. It was detrimental for me. Obsession has been in my life, like horrible. And like I can't believe, like, it is one of my favorite gifts of sobriety, which I have many. One of my favorites is the loss of obsession, and not the constant state of life that I'm in, and like always needing something to keep me going or something, like, and it was constant and it's exhausting, and to not have that is a great gift, which is why I operate the way I do and why I take care of my brain. I vividly remember at like 8 through 10 freaking out. Next level. I definitely had some, like at that age too, like I used to throw like serious freakouts, like serious, like literally like blinding. I remember when I was little, like it was blinding to me. And I don't know, like when that kind of stopped. I would thank God it stopped. I don't even know when it did. Just one day, I didn't do work on it, nothing. Just one day it was over. And that ties into it with I don't know, that rage, that screaming, that way I felt, it ties into my eating disorders and my obsession and like this big knot of everything. And like, maybe it's me trying to calculate and check my temperature, but it's just like it all folds together. And like all of these great defects and all these things about me, like all intertwine into one big ball that I am like slowly kind of untangling. And my potential to have OCD is definitely, I think, at the pit of that. And maybe it's not OCD, maybe it's just some type of like issue with that, or like something similar. And I don't need any diagnoses, whatever. I always have had really big feelings, and I never grew out of that until I was met with sobriety. There's so many bad things or like bad traits that I had that I did grow out of, that most of us have in adolescence that we grow out of. And my big feelings was something that I have never grown out of to this day. I just have really, really big feelings. And I like saying it that way. And maybe this will help other people because it makes me feel like a kid, and it makes me feel like, okay, she's got really big feelings. And like, yes, it's hard. Yes, it's like some type of chronic thing that's in my brain. But at the same time, like, it allows me to change my perspective to it being like a more adolescent state of being and of like emotion. And I don't like, I think I have a great hold on my emotions, like considering what I've been through and what I've had to work for to get them. But like at the same time, it's important that I understand you have really big feelings. That helps me. But I've always been like that. And it was always really, really, really hard for me. And it's funny because like that's what my diagnosis is. That's what I fixate on, is a girl with really big feelings. How do we control that? It's not her fault. It truly is not her fault. Like, and so this is one of the things that I stuttered kind of over earlier, and why I feel weird talking about it, but I didn't talk about it a different time. I talked about food, and I feel like other girls are going to get where I'm coming from. And I'm sorry if you're like a family member, or I don't even know what to say. Like, I don't even know how to preface this. Okay. But like when I was like 8 to 10, I used to think that I could put like tape on my stomach and rip it off, and like fat would come off with it. Or like take a pair of scissors and like literally like cut my stomach is what I would think I could do. Like these like weird, I knew I couldn't do it, but I would sit around and think about it. And like, what a young age, like that's terrorizing. What a young child. Like I would be sick. I don't even have a daughter yet. And I would be absolutely sick to my stomach if I found that out. Like I know, that's why I kind of don't want my mom to hear this, because I just can't imagine like being a little girl's mother and like that's what they think of themselves. It's so sad. Like who the fuck did this to you? And then like you blame yourself trying to find the answer to that, and it doesn't exist because we live in this fucked up weird world. And I can't even imagine what kids are going to be like now, because I wasn't even exposed greatly to the internet. Like barely at all. So like at schools where I could use a computer actually, or like at the library. So I don't even know, like, and my parents were careful with what I watched on TV and shit. So anyways, it's just insane. I can't even imagine what it's like. And I have those memories, and those memories reoccur. I think about them. Like, I don't think about, obviously I'm old enough to know that I can't put tape on it and rip it off and it would actually come off, or like whatever. And this is why I think I had OCD, because this is a sign, allegedly, of like certain things like this when you're a child, like thinking in certain sick, twisted ways, like that kind of. And I have other examples, but that's just the one that we're talking about today. Okay, we're not diving in. And I still have this reoccur. The not the memory, not like thinking that, but the memory of me thinking it is what occurs. And I get sick to my stomach every time. I like stop and I melt and I go, no, you have to like, this is what you fight for, because you can go back to that place. Like, even though you were a kid and even though you might have grown out of that, if you were crazy, like if I was crazy and irrational the way I used to be, I fear I could fall back into that reasoning and like the logic of all that. And like, it's just scary. And I just wanted to share that because I swear other people, that is not an original experience. Other people have had to have that. And why I bring it up now too is because I have been divulging it and trying to like write about it and figure it out, and not figuring out a way of why, what, when, where, why, how, all that. I don't need to know that. But why, where is it living? You know what I'm saying? Like, why the fuck is that coming back? And I'll kind of articulate a little bit later why I think. And I guess, I mean, well, yeah, because I still have like a little bit to talk about before we get there, but that pain that still lives in me, because otherwise, why is that brought up? You know, like obviously memories and things like that, but that's like deep bedded memory in me that like really helps create who I am, first of all, genuinely, and like also really created that hater in me that I talk about. And like, that's the pit of it. That's the pinnacle. Those are the first ideals I have of such self-hatred. And like, I don't want them in my gut. And so I think to show you that we're working on taking that away, because it is traumatic, and maybe that's what it is. Like, your brain at that age, like that is a bit traumatic, and it wears on your soul for years to come, I think. And like, you don't get rid of that shit once you think it, and once it's there, and it's sickening. And I'm very, very thankful that I never got into self-harm. I'm so thankful I'm a pussy, because like, otherwise, and I'll go ahead and say it, self-mutilation was not an issue to me, okay? In terms of like grabbing my skin, freaking out tightly, ripping my hair out, like just really self-destructive, mutilating behaviors. So like, I'm not gonna like cut my skin or anything. I'm too scared. But like, if I didn't have a patch of hair for the rest of my life or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, not thinking of the future in terms of like, I don't care what happens to my body. I just want to be skinny. Okay. That's self-mutilation too, in a lot of ways. Like, and I think as a woman, you get what I'm saying. So I don't need to over explain that. As a woman, you understand exactly what I meant by that. And looking back, that is something that I nurture in myself all the time. Because I get mad and I still freak out a little bit. I don't like throw tantrums or like throw shit or whatever. I get pissed off though. I get pissed the fuck off because I'm heated. Okay. And healing that version of me, because I think I'm still so angry at her too for like doing that shit. And like while growing, it's hard for me to comprehend and picture a life like that, and it frustrates me. And like, I'm trying to build that and grow in myself so I can understand those thought patterns, because like, they were possessed by me. And they had the potential to be possessed again, even though it was adolescence. Like, things come back, you know, like our cycles. And also, I honestly think a lot of us have like cycles that we'll just be stuck in, you know, like certain ideals, mental things, you know, like alcoholism. Like, there's so many levels to that shit. Depression, like so many levels to that shit, where like us as people are assigned like certain cycles that we will go through. And like, for some of us, it's addiction and eating disorder and like this and that. Some of us like self-hatred, it's a family shit, it's whatever, you know. And like, it's just the shit that you're stuck in at this lifetime. And I think it's a representation of what we're meant to learn. And you know, I've done some distance in myself on the other side, not in terms of like trying to maintain a relationship and like some conscious contact with like my life that I live in on earth now, and then also maybe the other side. But I wonder if what I and by putting distance, it's not like I don't want that to sound bad. It's just like I just think some of it's irrational and crazy. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. And I'm very earth centered. And the more I grow in myself, I'm very like I'm just ground. I think maybe it's grounding. Maybe I've really looked after that grounding to be here on earth and like in the zone. And like shit just needs to be realistic to me, and a lot of things aren't. Okay, and that's just how I operate. I'm very logistic or very like I'm just a realist. Okay, sorry. And I wonder though, and I hesitate to even say this because I still like, is it like, are we here to each learn something? Like, I'm just ready to find out, you know, like, and I don't want to do any more pondering. Okay. There's 1,000,001 things that it could be in the next life. But I do think that my reasoning here does have something to do with learning to love myself. I'm not sure if we live several lives and if I hated myself for a long time or who I hurt like that or who I made hate themselves in a different life. I'm not really sure. But I have to love myself in this different, loud, purposeful, and driven way, and like unconditional way, because it's just I don't know it's always grabbed at me, and like in my healing, it just continues to grab at me, and it's just something I can't let go of. Is my self love, and I'm very thankful for that. But I don't know, like it just is. It's important and it's natural, and that's something in my gut that I have just slowly learned to follow, and it's led me in the right path of healing every time, because the basis of all this is like self-love. And I don't know, so I think that's why I look back to those memories and where they fit in me now and why they fit in me and what I'm trying to learn from it. Like, what am I trying to tell myself? What is it there for? Why can't I get rid of it? Why, when it comes up, is this certain nostalgia and this weird feeling attached to it from my childhood, back when I hated myself then, when I've been having 3 meals for several months now, you know? And it's sad and it's hard, but I think that's why I shared that, so you understand and you get it, that someone sees you. And my first diet, and maybe this was what we were watching at this point, because I was like in the 8th grade, so I always had like just self-hatred, mutilating thoughts, binge eating, so it's kind of giving the energy of like really toxic alcoholic that's not clean yet. It's kind of like that, like just like really fucked, like isn't starving herself yet, isn't doing anything, it's just suffering. Okay, essentially it's like what was happening. And so I was binging for most of my life and just absolutely hating myself, and in a lot of ways I've been suicidal for a lot of my life. Okay, and this was something that I didn't come clean about until pretty much after Allie's passing, or no, when I got sober, I came clean about it and talked about it, because I realized other people go through it, and my parents know about it, so different family members, certain family members know. It's something that I kept really close to myself, that now I'm loud about since Allie. That's what changed with Allie, was like that's when I started to get loud about it, because I wanted other people, I just don't want anything like that to happen to anyone ever again, and I miss her all the time. Still can't talk about it. But my first diet was in the 8th grade. And I remember this pretty distinctly. I was at Rugby Middle School, y'all. Shout out Raiders, okay? And I was eating. I got this tracker app on my phone to track my calories. And what was I eating? Gum and sunflower seeds. I'll say that again. Gum and sunflower seeds. And then like one sandwich a day or something, and like half my dinner at night, maybe. And at that age, like that is not healthy. I'm a growing girl. I'm in the 8th grade. I think back to that. I remember one time I was on a hike with a family member, and she's like, "You've been chewing a lot of gum." And I'm like, "Yeah, it keeps me from eating food." And I remember her looking at me and being like, "You're like in the 8th grade. What the fuck?" And it's like, what? And I guess like at that age, you're definitely conscious. Like you're learning insecurity. You're going through puberty. But like this is when things started spiraling out of control, and I learned how to starve myself for real. Definitely media attributed to this. There's so many things, but that was my first real taste of it, and my first like euphoria of being skinny. And when I started to get skinny and thin out and look hot and like want to be popular and all this stuff, and it never stopped from there. Like from that first diet, that started the rest of my life for years to come, my ups and downs and ebbs and flows with eating disorder, honestly. And still now what stays are my starving and my binging. Those are the two that stay. I never ever threw up. And I don't know why I'm talking about that, but like I thank God for that, because like I couldn't imagine being an alcoholic and throwing up, like while I was already throwing up. I just can't even imagine. Thank God. Like, and in my alcoholism I went through several. Most of it was binge, obviously. And I could not turn this brain off. Like absolutely could not silence it remotely. It was like constant blaring in my ears, just so sickening. I was so sick of myself, so sick. And so everything was binge, just to try to get things to stop, things to set up. So like it was like this. So it was mostly binge, and then I would go through periods of like starving myself, especially with like an active use. And that's the thing. It presents me when I am presented with something that gives me an opportunity to starve myself, I take it and run. I'll give an example of this in a little bit too, and a more recent example that I wasn't sure I was going to share, but it seems right that we're here and we're diving into this. But it was like Coke introduced. So in high school, it was Adderall introduced me to this. Later in my life, Coke, and back on Adderall. It gives you a reason to keep doing it and to also simultaneously starve yourself. Because why would you eat if you don't need to? And then like, why stop doing the drug for the potential of a meal to slip in, right? And so I think I went through a few bouts in my active addiction of what that looked like, but it was never a good relationship. I did not have a good relationship with food until now. Like, I'm not kidding. I mean, I've had my moments, like, but most of my life was fogged by at least food noise is what they call it. Minimum food noise, okay? And that is a horrible place to be. I still have food noise. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. Like, this is something like I am dealing with now. I still have food noise, and it's painful and it sucks, but it's getting so much better all the time. And like, I live such a happy and healthy life, and I love myself in this different way. It gets easier all the time. Every time that I conquer my brain in a certain way, I feel better. So like, I have hopes that my food noise will go away. And I got like some tips of advice from older women that just were talking about it, and were just like, that is something that you need to get rid of in your life. Like, that is something that like is going to haunt you and follow you and cause some detrimental things in your life, because they know we all face it as women. And to hate yourself or to like whatever it is, they're like, we all have an issue with our body, and that sucks. Like, you know, it's sad. And I'm hearing a weird noise, but the advice of getting over the food noise was one that I want to follow, and I chose to follow, because I don't want to live in pain, and I don't want to live in a body that hates herself. I want to live as somebody that loves herself and is proud and loud. And like, that's what I want. And it was my first two signs. So like, obviously in addiction, like, we're literally insane. Like, y'all know what's the definition of insanity is like doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results, whatever. Like, addiction is genuinely, it's insanity. That's like the point. And I've always had extreme levels of insanity, and we talk about it, we joke about it now, but like, it was not a joke back then. I've always had extreme levels of insanity, not a normal person, and that matched with food early on. And I think my brain was just looking for somewhere to tickle its fancy, because I'm an addict, and like, I had to leech to something. I had to like my insanity, you know, like, and food was just there. That was the easiest thing to grab and kind of like make it my world, become obsessed with it. And later in high school, I was caught with diet pills, okay? And that's the sad part. I had no idea the effects that would come, like, that could come. Thank God nothing happened. But, like, the effects that could come from this stuff, and, like, the way that, like, starving yourself and all this stuff. Anorexia is the number one deadliest mental disorder. People are dying all the time of this, and that's why I don't take it lightly, because, and then that's why I'll talk about this too. But I was caught taking diet pills, and I was taking a lot of Adderall, and I was not eating, and then I was playing sports at the same time, and it was giving like Danny Tanner and like that episode where like she passed out on the treadmill or whatever. Like, same energy. And I remember watching that clip, and like, it did not help me not eat. It made me want to not eat more. Like, there's something twisted about the mind of somebody with an eating disorder. And it is that, like, I want to be the one that faints. I want to be the skinniest. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's crazy. Like, I'm not normal. And like, a lot of girls part with that. And I want you to feel okay in that. Like, it's fine that you feel that way, but it's twisted. It's like the same as like telling somebody they look good. That always, for me, like people would tell me that I look good, and I'm just like, oh, I am not eating this week ever again. I'm never eating again in my life. And then I'd have these other binge moments, and that like came with my loss of control in life and like my loss of everything, and like you're depleted of so much joy at like, y'all, we were children when we did this to ourselves. We were children, adolescents. Our brain function was not meant to withstand the pain and the lack of nutrients. Like, it's fucked. And I'm so blessed, like, at least for me, that I didn't like do something horrible to myself, like health wise. Like, could you imagine doing something to yourself at 16 and walking away with a lasting disorder of some kind, or maybe like a physical thing, like who knows, some type of issue. And breaks my heart. Absolutely gut wrenches me, to be honest. And it was kind of like food was similar to alcohol in a way, because it was my first like love, you know? And in a lot of ways similar in relationship, obviously, because they're both addictions, but in the way of like an abuser and a lover is like what it is, you know? Like the way I explained, like a kind of the Stockholm situation style that comes with addiction, at least for me and my alcoholism, and constantly going back to the thing that hurts me over and over and like threatens my life, threatens my relationships, like threatens my sanity, but I love it and I get what I need out of it. And when I'm feeling bad, I go back to that thing to look for reassurance and for peace. And that's exactly what my disordered eating always looked like too. And they were one and the same, the food and the alcohol. And obviously alcohol didn't come till like a little bit later in my life, but those are the most broken moments I can think of. And to sit here today and like know that I got through those, at least for now, is immense. Like, and it's a battle that I did not think I would win, because like the talons that both of these disorders like clawed into my brain, like wanting to yank it out of my head. And it's sad. Like it's a miserable existence to, and I keep saying that it's sad. And I think it's just because I sit here and like I'm articulating it and talking about some of my memories, and it just breaks my heart. And it's good that I feel that way about it. So all through high school, I struggled with eating from like, and I said it was 8th grade. I think it might have been earlier, like that diet situation, but all the way through I struggled, until I got to senior year. I don't know, like maybe I did peak in high school, y'all, for real. Like I can't even front. Like maybe I did, because like I had a fantabulous senior year. And like looking back, like emotionally I had a great senior year. Physically, like I was in sports, so like it was just a great year. And I did not struggle that much mentally. I ate very normal. It was like I had never really struggled with disordered eating like that. Like it was just normal. And then immediately when I got to college, that was it. Like, college sucked for me. It really did. Like I had a great time and I will never give up those memories, but I was in such a fucked up mental place. I was suffering with drug addiction and I was suffering with eating disorders and like just really bad mental health, horrible, crippling. And like I wasn't even an alcoholic yet. Like, and that shit just blew. And it got really dangerous when I first kind of got into college. Well, no, when I first got into college, like I was happy, healthy, whatever. I was fine for a little bit, and then I got back into starving myself, like pretty hardcore. And I remember my parents coming to visit me at one point. I had moved out of the dorms into like an apartment like close to it, and my mom like gasped and was like, "You're tiny right now." And I was like, "Thanks." She's like, "No, like you're tiny." And people now to this day, I dropped a lot of weight from alcoholism, obviously. And I'm going to come clean to you in a little bit and talk about how I starved myself here in a minute, because we don't have much time. But when people say to me now, like, you need to take care of yourself, you need to take care of yourself, like, I really take them seriously. And I am really, really appreciative that people recognize me enough to recognize my weight and like to know that it slipped off really fast, like just to recognize it and like to make sure I take care of myself. I really just appreciate those comments, and it'll be from random people too. Like my mom does it a lot, but I appreciate it because it like keeps me in my head conscious of it too. Because it's not something you escape. Food noise, starving yourself, that is something you don't escape that easily. It's not like it's not like you kind of can go to rehab and fix it. You know, you do. That's how people deal with eating disorders. But there's so many levels to that shit. So like, I'm not a life-threatening case, like, by any means. So I wasn't going to go to rehab for that shit, you know, but it's just like, it's different to deal with. And it's like, it's a piece of you, just like alcoholism is, but you can rip it away. Like that food noise just kind of like stays a piece of you for a long time. And maybe it's because I'm really getting into the recovery of myself with it now and really starting to understand what recovery from true eating disorder kind of looks like, but I still struggle with it. I struggle with it all the time. Like I'll be in my head, like, you should starve yourself. I'm like, what are you fucking doing? Like, and it's just innate. It's innate. I was in a relationship with that shit for so many years. Like it's literally like, I have to stop it all the time. And it boils back down to a lot of the same shit. It's the conscious being on earth. It's like literally it's consciousness and me being in my body when I have these weird thoughts or weird things. When I start to feel uncomfortable, I just need to be in my body and combat those feelings. Like, and it's hard, honestly, but yeah, it got really bad in college with a lot of stuff. Then I got a boyfriend, fell in love, and I was okay for a while with him. I was on drugs after this. So when I was on drugs, you're skinny on drugs, like literally. So literally I was fine. And then I wasn't sure that I would, in what depths I would talk about this, and we don't have much time, and we'll talk about it again. This is kind of more of a history and just kind of laying some things on the table. But when I said something presenting me with the opportunity to suffer and to starve myself, I guess, in a way, I had a recent bout with this. I had severe binge eating disorder. I guess I just said that, but so in my adulthood, it's presented in a multitude of ways. And then like after college or after like Florida, it just kind of stayed and the food noise didn't go away and it hasn't gone away. Well, like I'm working on it clearly, but like it stuck. And I had the opportunity to get really skinny and starve myself during my wisdom teeth. And it was something that just happened. And I knew I'd already been getting skinnier because I lost so much weight from my alcoholism coming off. So I did lose like a ton of weight rapidly just from simply not drinking. Simply. That's it. And then I've always been into dieting, always been into that type of shit. And so like that continued to happen. But I'm like, well, I'm starving. I can starve myself and no one's going to say anything to me. Like, I don't have to eat the potatoes, like whatever. And y'all, if you've experienced something like this, when you start starving, it's really hard to make yourself, like, you have to like slowly give yourself like food and stuff like that. And it's like painful. Like, it's not like, there is a euphoric feeling, but like it sucks. Like, it just sucks. I think like it's great. Like if you're somebody that deals with it because you're just like, ooh, I'm going to be skinny. Like this feeling is worth it all. And it feels like the pain for being skinny. And like okay, I can pay that toll. I can be a little upset and be skinny as fuck. And I just want to be honest about this. Like, I'm sorry if this hurts anyone or like, I am this secretive. This is the way my brain works. Like, and it's not that I'm being secretive about my emotions. And like, if you're close to me and you're like, this is a shock and you're like, what the fuck? I don't see these things. So it's hard for me to understand it while it's happening. But what happened with this, was very shortly following, I reached out to somebody very close to me and told her that I had been starving myself and that it just hit. It hit. And I was making the podcast. I was in recovery, in getting rid of my alcoholism and trying to fix myself. And I woke up and I realized I am disordered eating. I seek help for these types of things now. Like I am disordered eating. I'm starving myself. It's like I woke up and I was bawling my eyes out in my bed. I remember this. Like, I think it was literally like one day it just came and like, I was just crying, bawling my eyes out in my bed. And I don't cry a lot. Like I cry, but not alone in my house. You know what I'm saying? Like I live a happy life. I'm not bawling my eyes out in bed every night before I go to sleep or things like that. And so like, it's not common for me to have like a crying fit in my bed, to be honest. Like, and I was crying my eyes out and I reached out to her and I told her I've been starving myself and that I was going to be very conscious of it and seek a little help. But I wanted to be held accountable. And if it got worse, I wanted to tell somebody. I wanted to tell somebody that I wanted to try on my own too. And I did alcoholism this way. I don't know why. Like, I don't think it's healthy to try to do things like this on your own by any means, but the way I operate, I just did. And then I was reading books and I was like looking stuff up about anorexia, honestly. And like, it's crazy to use that term. And I think I'm not allowed to because I'm not that skinny. Like, it's like, what? Like, literally, what the fuck? Like, what constitutes somebody anorexic? Not eating. Like, duh. And so, like, I've hesitated to been saying it this time because I just don't feel like I necessarily part with it. But at the same time, it's the same as alcoholism. Like, clearly, I have several issues when it comes to that, you know? And since that day, I have gotten a really big grip. Like I said, I still have food noise and sometimes I have to be like, eat, what are you doing? But I have a schedule now that I make sure I eat like very religiously, and I eat healthy because I want my brain to stay healthy, not just because I want to be skinny. This week, I am dieting a little hard because I'm going to the Wanderer this weekend and I want to be super hot. I just ate breakfast though. Literally just ate it. There's literally syrup sitting right here on my table, okay? And I just looked at myself in the mirror that day and was very conscious and just looked at myself and I was just like, I'm so sorry. How did I miss how did I miss it? After healing for all this time, like, and I can tell this is going to be 2 episodes because I just already know I have so much to say about this, but like, you couldn't even see it and just like, I'm so sorry, girl. Like, I'm so sorry for this. And like, the whole day following, like, I ate and I didn't binge eat. Like, I feel like there's like something that exists in me too where I cannot binge eat. It's not healthy. I have had episodes of this within the last 2 weeks. Like, I had a binge episode like 2 weeks ago that was so gut-wrenchingly upsetting, like just so upsetting to me, and like it just happened and I went on with my life the next day and I did a really good job of taking care of myself after, but I made sure to like continue to eat thoroughly for the rest of the day, and from there on out I've journaled every day about it and I keep touch with my food because that's not how we operate, and I wasn't being honest about it, and it was just hard like to get through that little period of eating normal again. And like, it's more so the emotions and coming back from something like that and like learning to love yourself after you so innately hate yourself that you're starving subconsciously, you know? And that was like a decision I made in my subconscious because it had been so long. It had been so many years of me dealing with this shit back and forth. And like, I've been healing. So this was a subconscious starving opportunity that I took. It came with my wisdom teeth and it just happened. And like, I didn't consciously take that because I was in recovery. I was in healing. So this was something that I would have put a red flag up around. Like, and I was mid-healing. So I'm like going through, or I was a little past but I'm aware of character defects. I'm aware of these things to keep track of in myself for red flags. Like, I'm aware of all this, you know? So the fact that it just slipped by, it goes to show so much about your brain. It's insane to me. I think it also went along with, like, I did hyperfixate a little bit after I got rid of alcohol because, like, I needed somewhere to put my energy, kind of, I guess. And, like, I've always been a dieter, like I talked about, and just, like, cared about my looks, clearly. And I also would use kind of anxiety as an excuse. But in a way, like, I genuinely thought that me not eating had a lot to do with anxiety. And granted, I think it was food noise. Yes, I think a lot of it was anxiety. But now that, like, I'm growing out of my anxiety in some ways. Like, I think it's one of those cycles in my life that I'll face probably. But I think I've healed immensely on the road of anxiety, like immensely. Like, that shit used to cripple the fuck out of me, and now it's like so different. The way I look at life and like the way that I deal with myself and nervous and anxious in whatever situations is insanely different. But I would just attribute it to that. I'm anxious. It's like, it's food noise though at the bottom, but it's just an excuse, and an excuse that I believed too. Like, that's what I want y'all to see too, is some of this shit is like our brain doing this. That's not my fault. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a sick person and like I'm seeking help now. And that's what I can do, is fight my hardest and like try my hardest to never be like that and to never deal with something like that and to love myself in this insane, unconditional way. In this way that loves her belly fat and loves her rolls and loves whatever is right and wrong with her. You know what I'm saying? And like, I think that also came with learning to love other people because I'm a woman and I could never imagine looking at another woman and like tearing her down that way. You know what I'm saying? Like, And like, yeah, I can be a bitch. I can talk shit about people, like whatever, but like to that extent, you know what I'm saying? Like not like a joke, not being funny, like, and learning to love women in such a certain way. And like, because of course I did used to look at women. I was a disordered person and like I was a cunt. And I don't look at women like that. I haven't for like a very long time. And that, I don't know when that changed. I mean, at some point it changed in me. And I think that was before healing a little bit because I love women and I felt really protected and united and understood in my femininity. And it's really important to me. And it's important for me to be around another woman. And that helped me a lot in my recovery in terms of like eating and food noise. Because I'm so beautiful. What the fuck? Like, I'm a woman. I'm magic. Literally. Like, I'm actually divine. And people say that, like, whatever. But, like, that is something I understand in my gut now. Like, it doesn't have anything to do with what I look like. Like, I am glowing. I am radiant. I'm understood. And I am, like, generations deep, you know? Like, I'm the result of so many fucking cool-ass things. And I don't deserve that, you know? And it's just hard. Like, it's hard to come on here and be open and be honest about it, but I'm not scared. I don't care. Like, it's my life, and it's something that, like, and my wisdom teeth were not that long ago, y'all. That was in March. It's June. That was the, like, no, it's the end of June. We're going into July. That was May 1st. I got my wisdom teeth out April 30th. That was not that long ago. It was like in some ways kind of a relapse because I hadn't done it in a while, but I'd also suffered at the hands of the binging. And now, like, since then, y'all know I'm a very scheduled person, but what has really helped me is like a schedule eating wise. And like I pre-make my dinners for the week just so that they're there and I can reach for them. Because if it's not there, I might go into the comfortability of like starving. And it's more like I do view it as a relapse situation because it is like if I think that way a little bit, then that's such a representation of how I feel about myself. And it's like the whole rest like follows it, like trickles back in. And like I don't want to be such a definitive like person like that. Like if one thing happens and it's just like all over and like you might as well just starve yourself for a month. And like I don't feel like that's who I am anymore though. You know what I'm saying? And like not in terms of like I'm going to go back and use alcohol or like whatever. It's just like that is something that normal people have that I worked for, that I think I possess now. And that's a little bit of control in some ways. And I have to have that in my healing too and understand like deeply that every move I make when it comes to food is in somewhat an indication of how I feel about myself and how I feel about my sobriety in my life. And like, it's followed me for so long that the amount of patience that I have to have with this is like astronomical. And when I have those thoughts, when I have those bad things, and that's what I think OCD, like I think that's why I said OCD too, is those thoughts and those feelings. And like I have a lot of what is it called when like people like have thoughts and like irrational thoughts, like thoughts that aren't yours, intrusive thoughts. Oh my God, y'all, suffered it for a very, very long time. My intrusive thoughts out the window. And I even talked about during my obsessive times with alcoholism, like when my inhibitions were down, like I would go on the intrusive thought. I would just do what my brain was saying because I was so exhausted and so tired of fighting the urge to just like fucking do it, like do everything my brain says. Like it was exhausting. And I think like allegedly this maybe in some ways has something to do with OCD patterned thinking, but I don't care. It's Maddee D. You know, it's Maddee CD. It's just the way I think, my pattern thinking. And it's disordered. It's flawed. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to find that diagnosis necessarily because it's like, I know it's wrong and I know it's weird. And I think I'm trying to articulate in some ways the way my brain functions. Not that it's your business, but like to make you feel seen again and to talk about the way I heal from this and the way I move on, because it's not necessarily pretty all the time. And it does hurt, like, to eat when you don't want to, or like when I have thoughts of me not being pretty enough or not being thin enough or like whatever. It's just like, it's irate because I'm beautiful. And like, I look at myself in the mirror. I'm like, you're so pretty. And like one thing that I do if I've had those thoughts, which it has not been a lot, is yes, I always say like, tell yourself that you love yourself in the mirror over and over, but I tell her I'm sorry over and over. And apologizing to her sucks. It does, because it just feels nasty. It feels like, how dare you do that to yourself? It's like abusing like my little sister in a way. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's abuse. Like it's truly abuse. And I've always been in an abusive relationship with myself. And I think that's also why I'm coming clean about all this, is to like show you that like we bend and we work with it. And like in some ways, all of us are our own abuser. In some way, shape, or form, it's just the way it works. Whenever I'm filming, I'll like be talking about something and then my brain just stops. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the light. I really don't know. It's so funny though. Like, it'll just like go away completely. So I don't know. I have absolutely no idea what rampage I was just on, honestly. Like, I don't know. So there's that. Oh, apologizing to yourself in the mirror. It's hard because it's embarrassing, and it's just like, and you know the embarrassment. Like, if you part with this, you understand the embarrassment of hating yourself. It's not fun to be insecure, to be hateful, and to be abusive. It's literally embarrassing. And I think that like needs to register in your brain somehow to understand, like, girl, you better than that, you know? Like, that's how it is for real. Like, I'm better than that. I'm better than that. And like, you need to hear that to yourself. When you apologize to yourself, like face on face in a mirror over something like that, it's just like, damn, I'm sorry, bro. That's fucked. Like, that's fucked up that somebody left you crying in the dust like that, you know? That's kind of what it is. Like, and I mean, and all this leads back to childhood and to healing my inner child and what that looks like. And a lot of that is food for her. It's fuel, and I think it's helpful to view it as fuel. And I never have done that in my life, ever. 100% food has been associated with comfort or punishment. Okay. Like, genuinely, like, that's what food has always been to me. And so to use it as fuel in this way that, like, I literally make sure I eat certain food groups and I'm eating, I think, okay, good. This will keep my brain up today, you know, or like drinking my gallon water. Okay. This makes sure I feel good for the day. And it's like, it's very freeing because I didn't even know I could picture food like that. And I think I recognized it. Like, yes, I always ate well and I was eating good, but to really use it for me and utilize it as a tool, and something that can bring me peace and something that can be fun for me, and like going out to eat, to experience like these things, and food is like a culture-based thing. It's a fun thing. It unites us, I think, as people. Food is a fantastic thing. And like, I love food and bev service too. I love hospitality industry. I love things like that. So like, food does represent a lot to me in terms like of social, and to heal that is a really beautiful thing because like you can see it, especially in a city like Charleston. Like, the way that I'm like getting emotional, the way that I could enjoy my dinner when I went out on my own date a few weeks ago. And this week my date night is the candlelit shit. But it was a beautiful meal. It was unique and I got to like experience it. You know what I'm saying? And like, yes, I did that before, even in my disorders and stuff. But I don't know. It's just really nice to view it in a different way and for it to be truly fuel and to also be able to have fun with it. And like, I recently accepted that like a character trait of mine is loving chocolate, you know, like that's not recently accepted, but like accepted by me. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, like you just like chocolate, girl. Okay, let's get into it, which is so weird, but like that's the type of shit. You see how excited I get? Like, that's some inner child shit right there, for real. Like, where I'm like, oh my God, you love chocolate for real, girl. Like, yes, like I get giddy. Like, I keep my chocolate, girl. Like, that's healing, you know, and that's girlhood in a way of from screaming terror, bloody terror to like all the time, you know? And so I just wanted to be honest and like come clean and touch on some of the things I faced in my life. And I was going to maybe get into, I'm down on time. I got shit to do today. I'm sorry, y'all. Okay. I got shit to do today. I love you so much. But like, I was going to maybe talk about also like alcoholism, some different roles and like some different stuff with food. But also like I'm newer to this healing journey and it's just for me to get things out and talk about stuff and for you to see that you're not alone. So we will talk about this again. Comment if you guys like this. Comment if, actually though, I want to know, are you guys disordered eaters too? Be honest. I feel like all girls at some extent are. And it's just really important too, I want you to see, to evaluate that relationship. Even if you don't have a disorder. And I think that's what I get at this whole podcast, like mental health, the alcoholism, the sobriety, all of it. Like the main thing is like the bad relationships and evaluating them. You know what I'm saying? And it's not necessarily if you have anorexia or if you're an alcoholic, it's like fix your relationship. and just analyze it. It's as simple as that. Analyze it and don't let yourself move forward in a dark place like that, because we can fix those relationships even if you're normal. Even if you're such a normal eater, but you have just a little food noise like any other girl, you know? Like, you don't have to be as intense and extreme as me to fix those parts of your life. Because y'all, things like food, alcohol, they are huge parts of our life. We need them every day. Not alcohol, but like social. So like you might go out all the time. You need food every day. So like these little relationships getting fixed, same with like money, different stuff, it catapults you. It changes you so much. And like, I think that's what I get at too. And y'all know I love change, changing yourself, changing your perspective, changing your relationships, analyzing, understanding, figuring things out. Like, it is so important, and it is so worth every single bit of effort you put into it, because you might not even need that much work. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That was like a threat. In parentheses, threat. You know what I'm saying? Threat. So I think that's what I'm getting at. I'm sorry. Also, anyone watching this that didn't know that I basically have starved myself half my life. And I'm not being quiet about this shit anymore. Like, I have to hold myself accountable and be loud about it. Like, it's just the way I operate. And I have a camera, so why the fuck not? So, and if you're struggling, obviously, you know where to find me. Please do. Eating disorders are very dangerous. Weird eating is very dangerous. Food noise is very dangerous. So just be careful out there in these creeks, y'all. And I'm going on my own date I have a big week. Can I say it real quick before we go? I have date night Thursday with myself. I'm going to Candlelit Beatles. I keep saying symphony. What the fuck is a symphony? Concert? I don't think it's a symphony. Wouldn't that be like opera? I don't fucking know, girl. I don't know, girl, for real. And then Saturday, big party day. Big party day. First huge party day, kind of, since I've been back. And I'm excited. Going to the Wanderer, this fancy place. And then we're going to go out, props. And then I am catching up with my podcast. So I just get to like see Abby and her baby and like just be vibing, y'all. Like, just, I'm in a good mental place. And y'all saw me down bad. That was a lot of the emotions too that went into the meltdowns that I had close to the wisdom teeth, and like the meltdown episode, and then fixing it and all that. Like, and I just couldn't recognize it because it's so second nature for me to start like, it's so second nature. The food shit is like, it's crazy. It's like you just turn and like, that's how you act. And it's fine because I get to fix another relationship. It's super easy, not difficult, but be there for yourself. And I didn't talk about what I do too much because also it's like, I'm not going to be right for everyone. You know what I'm saying? And like, I'm not here about how to fix it necessarily, but like, just to be real. I love you. Eat everything today. I'm finna go have some lunch right now, baby girl. I love you. Have a good week. Bye.